After the release of his latest stand-up special, God Loves Me, Marlon Wayans has been on a press run to promote the project. In an interview with the feature presentation, Wayans was asked what his experience was like being a Black man in Hollywood. His response was that Hollywood is a bank that doesn't understand the content brought to them. He doesn't wait on the industry for opportunities, but instead creates his own. Marlon's recent comments has us thinking about Black comedy as a whole and if the Wayans family have been properly recognized by Hollywood. Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Capone and Pierre, calling to the show to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
So I want to talk a little bit about like being a Black man in Hollywood and what that experience has been like for you.
Being a minority in Hollywood is tough. You don't wait on Hollywood. Hollywood is a bank, and the decision makers don't get the content. Hollywood didn't make me. I made me. I've been writing and producing since I was fucking 19 years old.
Give it up for that.
So you don't get to choose, Hollywood, how the fuck I'm gonna make you money. They do this, they wait for you to get hot. And then they bet on you with a bunch of bad fucking movies. I've been able to understand story, produce product, learn to write scripts. Now I really know my audience. Now I'm gonna go get some money. I've done nothing but made Hollywood money. We 1,000% on our money. You want a good investment? You bet on something Wayans. We started Fox Networks, WB Network, got Netflix hot.
Guys, don't get it twisted. In Living Color helped Super Bowl too. There wasn't a Super Bowl halftime show the way it is today if it wasn't for In Living Color. Don't get that twisted.
Look at Living Color. What my brother did on Living Color. Everybody's a star, including the dancers. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
I've never subscribed to wait in line, waiting on Hollywood to choose when I make it. No, you don't get to do that. I know when I'm ready, and if you want to make some money, then you bet. And if not, fuck you, I'll find the money, I'll do it myself.
Now, Pierre, I know we've actually recently talked about Marlon Wayans with his special God Loves Me. You recommended it to me because it was amazing, and surely enough, it was. So now we're hearing from him, talk about this, and he talked a little bit about this in his special. Let me get your reaction. What's your reaction to it, and do you think Marlon Wayans is overlooked?
Yeah, and he hit it on the head. Just like myself, I haven't lived in Hollywood in 20-some years. And, I wrote, produced, and directed 4 movies myself. I my podcast, my Dating Pierre web series. A lot of stuff I just do by myself, with my crew. Because I won't dance with Hollywood. Now, I'll play with Hollywood, but I won't dance for them, and I feel him on that. There's, nowadays, technology has changed where you can do it yourself. It's all about what they're doing right now, looking at their phones and watching stuff, or iPads, or the television. You don't have to run and chase Hollywood to get in the, if you don't want to get in the theaters, because movies nowadays don't last in the theater for about 2 weeks. Then it goes down to whatever we're watching now on. And so if you can go right to that source, your people, and we can get to our people now, you don't need Hollywood. And like he said, the Wayans brother has proven their success, over the years. They've proven it. So, I don't blame them. Do it yourself if they don't want to, they don't want to call on you, and you can play. The rules, the tables has totally changed. It really has changed from when I ran out there in the '90s, early '90s.
Absolutely. And do you think Marlon has been overlooked over the span of his career?
I don't think he's necessarily maybe got the credit he deserves, for what he's done. Overlooked. I mean, we all know him. We know him. I mean, who he want? More white folks to know who he is. He got a white fan base. So overlooked, I don't know about that, but I would say he's definitely, haven't got the roses that he deserved from the hard work he's put in, him and his whole family, but especially him. He's done a lot of movies, he produced a lot of stuff. So I don't think people realize he wears a whole bunch of hats. Say that much.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it better. Capone, let me bring you in. I know you were getting excited hearing him talk about you got to use your own money. You got to do it yourself. I want to get your reaction to it. And also, do you think Marlon Wayans is overlooked?
I agree with Pierre. I am ecstatic that he said that because it's very true. He goes out there, he's a go-getter, and he makes things happen, not only for himself, for other people too. He does a lot of things where he brings in friends and creates new careers for people. And that reminds me a lot of myself, maybe not on that big platform that he's on, but he's an incredible dude when it comes down to really doing for himself. And I love it.
Absolutely. Now, there will be no Marlon because his older brother laid the rope for him. He talks about it in his special as well. So Capone, let me stay with you. We talked about Marlon and wondering, is he overlooked? But let's talk about the Wayans. Like, do you think the Wayans have been properly recognized by Hollywood for all that they've done, you know, not just to stand up, but to the movie industry as well. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I think you know, they've done a great job with putting themselves in great positions. Now, the business part, I really don't understand too much because a lot of the content that they create, for some reason, I don't know if it's sold or was it taken away from them. That's a question that I've been asking for years because they created a lot of great content. And then it'll be like the fourth, you know, like Scary Movie. It seems like Hollywood took that from them. But I won't quote that because I'm not sure, but I know that they create a lot of great content.
Yeah, Scary Movie was the one that was taking the heat, and Marlon Wayans has talked about that. Let me ask you something, Capone, before I go to Pierre. Do you think the reason why we don't see the Wayans brother anymore is because, you know, physical comedy is kind of getting scarce. We don't see it as much. Do you think because of how physical their comedy is, that's the reason that we don't see the Wayans brothers as much as we used to?
No, that ain't what it is they can't be controlled. And as Marlon just said, when you can't be controlled, they try to erase you a little bit, or they try to deal with you only when they have to. And I'm so happy that he's in a position where he don't need them. And he's been very, very boisterous about that throughout his career. And I agree with him wholeheartedly that, you know, if you don't need them with all the technology, like Pierre said, we can do our own thing. We don't have to depend on them. You can tell I'm not a Hollywood guy, and I probably never will be.
Well, we know Pierre as well. Pierre is definitely not a Hollywood guy. We've seen him make his own projects and continue to have success, as both of you have. Pierre, I'm going to break this down into two parts because I don't want to give you too much at one time. So first question, do you think the Wayans have been properly recognized by Hollywood for all the amazing things that they've done over the course of their careers?
Nowhere near it. You know, it's funny. People like the Barrymores, Drew Barrymore, her grandfather, all the Barrymores, the Arquettes, Bo Bridges, the Bridges family, they get more love than the Wayans brothers. You know what I'm saying? And think about all the Wayans brothers and sisters, the lineage of that. Not only that, look at who they discovered. Jim Carrey, Tommy Davidson, Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Lopez. Look at all the tentacles they have reached out from the hub of the Wayans family. And they should get way more respect than they're getting, opposed to some white people who got 2 or 3 family members in show business and they laud on them as they're the greatest. You know, look at them, look at these people. You know, the Wayans brothers definitely have been overlooked of what they have done and contribute to, especially comedy. Come on now, let me just be honest. It is what it is. It's in the picture. I just gave it to you.
Yeah, and it's sad to say the Kardashians are more famous than the Wayans, you know, or more recognized than the Wayans brothers. But speaking of comedy, let me touch on that question next. Do you think because of how physical their comedy is, do you think that's why we've seen the Wayans brothers less?
I think that could contribute to some of it. You know, comedy itself, urban comedy has started to become more stand-up, just straight there. You know, if you look at some of the comedy specials of some of the newer comedies coming up, they're not as physical as my generation from Def Comedy Jam. You know what I'm saying? Painting the picture on stage. Nowadays, it's more verbal. They stand still, they hold the microphone, and they just speak. You know, I told you before, I remember the times when Def Comedy Jam was hot and a lot of white comics were losing their spaces in comedy clubs and theater, and they were teasing black comics about, oh, y'all just flipping and dancing on stage, that's all y'all do, because they weren't as physical, you know, as black comics. And I seen throughout the years, you know, the Comedy Central and other places would start hiring more comics, black comics who stood straight and just sat there or just talked to you. And other comics start seeing that, and they start saying, you know what, I guess that physical comedy ain't in no more, so let me stand still. But I still believe we should be able to do both of them. There's still a beauty in physical comedy, you know, painting the picture. It is what it is. As black folks, we're used to that. We love that. And unfortunately, I see it fading away a little more, but I wouldn't tell him. I thought his special was great. His last special was great, Marlon's, and, you know, he was physical, you know.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, and I got to give kudos to you for, you know, even bringing it to my attention and saying, hey, you guys need to check it out. Because the entire time it was beautiful from top to bottom, and he was very physical, and it was hilarious. So I'm hoping that physical comedy doesn't go anywhere. Now, to close out, you know, I love to give some flowers. We love solutions. So we're going to give Marlon Wayans some flowers. Capone, I'll come to you. Do you have a favorite Marlon Wayans moment, or even, I mean, the Wayans brother in itself? What's a favorite moment that you can share?
I would say this. This is kind of crazy. We were backstage and I don't remember. We were backstage. It was a really big show. And Marlon was the host. And I walked up, I walked past him. I'm not too much into if we haven't hung or broke bread. I don't, I say what's up and keep it moving. So I walked past him and said, hey, what's up, Marlon? And he said, yeah, what's up, guy? Like that. And then he turned around and said, Capone? I said, yeah. And I didn't really think that he recognized me or whatever. He was like, man, come here, man. And we talked for a little while. He was like, man, you doing your thing. And, it was just a great thing when I'm the type of person, I just try to go on stage and do my thing and not get into the politics of comedy. But there's some guys that I can sit with and talk and have a good time. And that's what I remember always with him.
Man, that's beautiful. Pierre, I'm gonna come to you to close out. Do you have a favorite Marlon Wayans moment? That can be something personal or something, that we've seen on screen. Do you have a favorite moment?
I'll give you screen and I'll give you a personal, but
screen wise,
screen could be anything from white chicks. I mean, come on. Even the first beginning when he was like a Puerto Rican, him and his brother was a Puerto Rican bodega owner or whatever. Oh my God.
$1 Miller.
Oh man, the hair slicked down to the side, that, or even what's the nutty professor Norbert when he was an instructor. Come on, as a physical comic, he's #1. I mean, he's up there. He can do that physical comedy. I give him props on that. So any of that, he has a lot of moments. I just want to give him a shout out. I saw the clip we showed is from another, I guess, podcast. I know, hey Marlon, I know I ain't on iHeart. I ain't big like R-Hype, but I do got one called The Panic Room. I'm gonna be in LA next week. Next week I'll be in LA. Come sit with your boy and let's do like Houston and let's rap a lot. You know what I'm saying? Come have a seat down with me, brother. I got number love from you. We in the inbox, we in the DMs. You know what it is? Next week I'm in LA, Tuesday, Wednesday. I need to stay and talk with you in the Panic Room. And guess what, y'all? If he's on the Panic Room, it's because he saw it on here. If he ain't, damn the movies, nigga. Fuck them movies, fuck your career, all that shit. I'm a hater. I'm petty as a mother. But if not, I'll holler at you. Okay, my nigga Marlon. Hit me in the DM.
You are hilarious. Just make sure if he stops by the Pierre's Panic Room that he comes by Comedy Hype as well. We got to have him on the show.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
Now, of course, before we head out, I got to know what you have going on. So Pierre, what do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
I got Marlon Wayans in the Panic Room coming up. That's what I got coming up. Yeah, okay? All I got coming up for the next 2 weeks is Marlon Wayans sitting down with me in the Panic Room. And you can follow me at Comic Pierre.
And last and certainly not least, Capone, what do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
All right, in March, this is the end of March. So I will be in Atlantic City doing a April Fool's show with some heavy hitters. There's too many to name right now. And also, I will be in a comedy club in New York, a new comedy club by Ray Dijon. It's called Laughaholics on the 1st. So New York, I'm coming back. Atlantic City, I'll be there. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, Comedian Capone. If you can't spell comedian, don't follow me. Big shout out to Tommy T's. This weekend, 6 shows, incredible. The hospitality was good. The people came out. They bought the merchandise. The t-shirts sold. Thank y'all. Tommy T's was crazy.
You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Marlon Wayans speaking out against Hollywood? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in those comments.
Culture sounds like black hands, coating your face in Vaseline like, boy, take those off and put on your good jeans, like put on your good shoes. And the riches in our genetics are not something that we get to choose. But when they stop you and they ask, what has the ability to create all of that? I hope you tell them. It's because my mama black.